Hello, everybody. Yeah, so I guess I forgot to set the oh, there we go. I forgot to set up I forgot to turn on the filler for Rumble. I just realized that now. But anyways, well, welcome to the mic stand, everybody. Um, Tonight I'm joined by Sabrina from Double Flyer Momentum. So before we get started talking about what's on tap for tonight, I'm going to give Sabrina a chance to promote anything if any projects or anything she's introduce herself, promote any projects she's engaged in, and or anything like that. So Sabrina, I'll hand it off to you for a moment. Go for it.
Let's see. Unfortunately, due to some circumstances, Rex will not be on the next week. Devil Flyer will not be on, so there will be a faux Rex, which will be me. And of course, as always, fund Devil Flyer. Um, but hopefully, um, if he cannot be on, I will be his proxy. But yeah, of course, always Rex is um fun Devil Flyer comic. I don't really have a project going on in my life. I'm just like Rex's mouthpiece and Rex's
Well, you probably take this opportunity if you want to help out Rex a bit on that front. Um, if you since you don't have anything of your own per se to in terms of your channel or your or any comic projects yourself, you're kind of connected to him in that respect. So maybe you can help him out by promoting his stuff.
yeah, definitely Rex, a Devil Flyer, Fund My Comic, fundmycomic.com, Devil Flyer. He also has a YouTube page, and it's Devil Flyer.
Momentum.
I believe you have the link, and also Momentum Comics. You can look it up that way as well. Momentum Comics, Devil Flyer. There's actually two ways you can do it. Yeah, Devil Flyer or Momentum Comics, Devil Flyer / Momentum Comics. Maybe I forget how you look it up, but yeah, he has many interesting things on his YouTube channel. He also has a show called Draw Stream where him and other artists get together and they just draw and they talk about like um, different topics like comic book artists and things like that. It's a really unique channel, and he's got some neat stuff on there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's also had a late night stream before that you and Elsie were have been a part of
Oh
too, right?
yeah, the late night stream gets there's a lot of sometimes there's swearing on there, so that's more yeah
It's more
yeah
adult. It's more Adult Swim, as it were.
yeah. It's more Adult Swim because there is swearing on there. Yes, it's more Adult Swim. Yes,
and
it's
and
more.
those who are into cartoons and or animation should know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes, yes. And I keep telling Rex because I will say things on there and like everybody else will get it and he won't. And I'm like, you really need to watch the Venture Brothers. You need to watch the Venture Brothers to get this. And he's like only seen like one season. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to watch I will buy the entire box set for you. Yeah,
All right,
yeah, yeah.
all right. Well, anything more you'd like to say before we move on?
No, but next week I will if Rex is not able to fix his computer issue, I will be proxy Rex
Well,
and
I
I
think
will make
I
it
think he did
fun.
mention to me earlier that he indeed wasn't going to be able to make it. So
Yes.
So yes, Sabrina will be on next week as well, to fill in for
Yes.
Rex. Um,
Yes.
and then we can talk about scheduling you beyond that next week, since you'll be back next week. Um, with what you just told me just before we went on air here about your moving and stuff like that. So we'll figure
Oh
that out
yeah.
next week. But with that being
Okay.
said, so now let's get it. Let's now just now that we got some of the preliminary business out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tonight. So tonight, of course, we're going to be continuing our trip down Comics History Lane, venturing through August of 1940. Comics went on sale in that date. This week, we're going to be focusing in on what we know today as Marvel Comics, what was known then as Timely. We'll be going through Marvel Mystery Comics, Volume 1, Issue 12, with the original Human Torch, the android Jim Hammond, not to be confused with Johnny Storm, Namor, the Submariner, and the of course the robotic hero Electro, not to be confused with the Spider-Man villain. So we'll be reading those three stories tonight, and then we'll of course at the end of the show we'll be wrapping things up with, of course, this weekend in Niche history. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get into material? Of course, friendly reminder to everybody, if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Alrighty then, so here's the cover of Marvel Mystery Comics number 12 there.
Ooh.
Granted, that's not from, I don't think the picture there is, maybe, because that looks kind of like Dorna from Namor, but I don't think that is. Here is action, thrills, adventure, 64 full pages of the best illustrated stories, especially written for this magazine. Daring mystery comics starring Marvel Boy. Introducing Marvel Boy, Dynaman, the Flying Flame, Falcon, Monaco, Tigerman, Superman. All right, so this big smashing issue now on sale everywhere. So, all right, so The Human Torch by Carl Burgos. Actually, you know something? Because I don't think there'll be a female. Let me just. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be a female in here. So I think I'll go ahead and let you narrate the story.
Okay.
Narration, and I'll do the characters.
Okay.
All right. So there's that blue. Can you see that narration right there?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Go for it.
Hunted by his fellow police officers as an arsonist because he burned down a block of old tenement houses infested with the Black Plague, the Human Torch now starts on his search of a mysterious criminal known as JB, mastermind behind the rackets in the city. It is the same JB who is responsible for the Torch's present predicament, having brought pressure to bear inside the police department. Present predicament. So sorry.
No problem. JB, eh? Well, I'll run down this master criminal if it's the last thing I do. Uh-oh, I forgot. The police force is out to get me. But I must see the captain and find out more about JB. This alley will serve me till I can figure out how I can reach the captain without hurting any of the policemen. And here comes an officer dressed in an asbestos suit and armed with an air pressure gun. Looking for me, blazes, he's my answer. Come to Papa, friend. Huh? Now peel off that asbestos suit, or I'll send this blazing hand through your glass visor. Wow, that's an interesting way to get somebody's attention, isn't it? Here's the suit, Torch. I never relished hunting you down, but I had my orders. I understand. You've rendered New York a great service by controlling the Black Plague. Is there anything I can do to help? Just keep quiet about my taking your suit. Where are you going now? To have a chat with a mutual friend of ours.
Later, at the police headquarters, a sharp knock on the captain's door brings a curt response.
Well, what do you want? To ask a few questions. Questions? Blast you! Your only orders are to bring in the torch. That's just it. I am the torch. What? Oh no, you don't. Oh no, I can't afford to let you spread the alarm. All I want to know is what you know about JB. What? Wait! Let go! I want to talk. I want to talk with you. That's better. Now about this JB. Torch, if you have any information concerning this leech, turn it over to me, and I'll get you off easy. Think I'd be here? You think I'd be here if I knew something about him? Quiet. The dictaphone on my desk is open. I wonder. We're in luck. The outside desk is empty. Okay, Torch. I have a proposition to offer. JB is a greater menace than Submariner. Submariner was. Since JB has an airtight legal organization. Yet, we know this syndicate is behind every crooked deal where the public suffers. What does this JB look like? That's the sad part. We don't know. The toughies we arrest just won't talk. They're plenty scared. Torch, run down JB, smash this ring of thieves, and I'll see to it that you're reinstated on the force. It's a deal.
Meanwhile, inside a public phone booth at the police headquarters.
Hello, JB. Sinali. Listen, the torch is inside the cap's office. Of course, I'm sure. I heard him talking over the dictaphone. He just came out of the captain's office. He's passing the phone now. What? Okay, I'll try to stop him. So long. Here goes. Help! The torch! Help! Huh?
Instantly, policemen swarm through the corridor.
Where's the torch? That's him headed for the elevator. Hold that door! Don't let him get away! Got him lucky he's wearing an asbestos suit. Fools! Think this suit is protection for you?
Suddenly, the torch's body shoots up in flames. Instantly, his glass visor melts.
You boys forgot the suit has air holes. Start the elevator. Wait. Oh, okay. Start the elevator. Can't you see we've got the torch trapped? Ouch. Maybe I can't burn through this suit, but how do you like the heat? His suit is hotter than blazing coals.
Swiftly, the torch peels off the asbestos suit and melts his way through the top of the descending car.
I'm not sure, but I think the fellow who spotted me is Sonali, the criminal lawyer. Elevator doors won't open. I'll have to melt my way through. What the torch? He escaped from the cops. I'd better beat it. It is Sonali. Ha! Look at the rat run. Here's a little heat, Sonali. A bit different than the kind you put on juries. Help! My foot! I'm burning! All alive! Help! Stop squawking. You're not burning. It's just your shoe. I had to stop you somehow.
As Sonali leaps to his feet, the torch lashes out with his fists.
Here's another dog. He's out cold. I'd better frisk him, just in case. What's this? A pocket dictionary? And a message? Interesting.
The message.
But screwy, it doesn't make sense. Warfare roast, plate top, temperance tonic, cramps. Yeah, that doesn't initially make much sense. But what could it be? What could it be though? Doesn't make sense
It's
as
code.
is. Could it be possibly a code? Maybe
It is a code.
this message must be in code, and this dictionary must be the key. Pages W, R, P, and T are well used. That's strange. The word waterfront is under warfare. I wonder.
Hurriedly, the torch looks for the words below those mentioned in the message.
I've got it. Waterfront robbery planned for 10 tonight. Krantz, JD. There he is. You'd better give up, Torch. I've more important things to do. Try and get me, coppers.
Turning on his flame, the torch leaps over the onrushing officers.
Put the air pressure gun on him, Ryan. Yes, sir.
Split seconds before Ryan pulls the trigger, the torch burns the wooden crossbeams on the ceiling. Instantly, heavy smoke fills the corridor.
I can't see him in the smoke. Ha! That smoke has sure got those cops stumped. I guess I'd better order the flame out before the entire building burns down.
Subduing.
Subduing.
That's a word I've never heard before. The
Subduing.
blazing, subduing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, okay. Subduing is a verb. It's subdue. It basically means to bring down. When you subdue
The way
something,
it is, the way it's written, it looks different. So please forgive me. Yeah,
no problem. That's why I was
subduing.
giving you a
Yes, I
hand
know.
there. I know it probably, especially if it's a word you're not familiar with or haven't seen before. That's why I was giving you a hand.
I know the word subduing. It's just the way it's printed looks a little different. Subduing the blazing beams, the torch melts his way through the captain's private office.
Huh? What in torch? Have you gone crazy? Nope. Sinali the lawyer spotted me. I knocked him cold. Hold him, he's one of JB's men. Where are you going? To Krantz on the waterfront. Things are going to happen there. So long, Cap. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'd better step on it.
Meanwhile, on the waterfront, a slick limousine pulls up in front of the Krantz Metal Company.
I hope JB's plan works. Don't worry. JB never misses, especially when 100,000 bucks is in the ante.
As one of the men presses the night bell, another covers the entrance door. When the watchman answers the bell, the man with the gun fires.
What? Oh! Did you have to? Did you have to do that? I oughta forget it, or I'll forget you're my pal. See? What was that? I saw a comet, or could it be the torch? Nah, Sonali is taking care of that guy, or so they think. Yeah, I almost forgot about Sonali. Okay, let's get to work. Now you're talking. 100 grand payroll, boy, what a job. Wait, something's burning over there. It's getting stronger. I never saw a flame so bright. It's the torch.
The torch moves swiftly, sending his flaming fists into the capped gunman's face while another gangster waves a lantern in the window.
Oh, wow. A flaming fist to the face. That's got to be quite a sight to behold. So the lantern is a signal for help, huh? Flames are shooting from his fingertips. The lantern is melting.
Then a sheet of flames flips from the torch's arms and holds both men to the wall.
Huh? That'll hold you till the others arrive.
Subduing his own flame, the torch takes cover between rows of steel girders. While through a door directly over, the torch silent figures suddenly glide.
Hmm. The torch is about the torch is below us. Give me a hand to push this vault over. It might crush him before he can turn his flame on. What the?
In a flash, the torch turns on his flame and leaps through the heavy strong box.
So they think they can escape. Fools! They should have known doors mean nothing to me. Because then he could burn through. Well, these are probably wooden doors. Of course, they mean nothing to him because he just burn right through them, right?
Pretty much.
Huh? Hello.
As the men reach for their guns, the torch blazing hands reduce them to molten metal. Then, subduing his flame, the torch goes to work with his fists.
There. Now to find out how these men gain their entrance.
The torch moves toward an open window with a ladder resting on its still.
A motorboat. So that's how they got in. Had an entrance from land and sea. Smart. It's JB. What's this? There's a girl in that boat. Why it's Jane Bradley, daughter of Nick Bradley, convicted of grafting while in public office. Blazes, she must be JB.
Knew it was a girl. Boys should have been out a long time ago, Slim.
Yeah, unless something happened to him.
Look, the window. It's the Human Torch. Slim, open those motors wide. We're not waiting. As the boat motors roar away, the torch turns on his flame and follows.
You'd better give up, Jane.
You'll have to catch me first.
There's one more word in there.
You'll have to catch me first, Torch.
All right.
The torch circles his arm and hurls a blazing ball of fire, the fast-moving launch. After the fast-moving launch, sorry.
No problem.
But the boat swerves sharply, and the flames sizzle in the bay. With a powerful dive, the torch swoops down and grasps the wheel from Slim's hand. Then, quick, into the water. It's the only place Torch can't follow us.
There's no use, Jane. There's a police boat coming, and they've spotted us.
There's nothing left but to give up.
Fish those two out. The girl is JB. I know that. Huh? Oh, it's you, Cap. How did you know she was JB? Sonali, Sonali confessed. Even told us of her plan to rob the Krantz Metal payroll. And I almost forgot the police commissioner says that it's all right to reinstate you on the force. Good. That sure is a relief. What's my next job, Captain? You want to read that last little thing on the right there?
Next month, another complete Human Torch action story.
All right. So overall impressions. Overall impressions of the story there, Sabrina.
Asbestos suit. And they use the word subdue a lot. But if you look at the way stuff is printed in here, it sometimes is kind of hard to read. But yeah, that I know what subdued means though. But yeah, actually I like this story. This was really good. And you didn't know JB was a woman. You assumed it was a guy.
Well, I think most people would have naturally. You have to remember this is 1940, so the whole idea of a female antagonist, it wasn't one of those like it'd probably be thought of more today that it could have been a woman, but back then, the idea of a woman being an antagonist was probably not something that would have came first in mind of a lot
and
of
God
people.
forbid, even a woman, even a woman criminal mastermind. Oh, for shame!
Yeah,
Please forgive me.
and that's not me being sexist or anything. That's just me acknowledging, the attitude, the general perceptions people had
Yes.
of the time. So,
Oh yes.
all right. So,
The thing
anyways,
that cracked
go
the
ahead.
thing that cracked me up though, really quick, Mike,
Uh-huh.
the thing that cracked me up, asbestos suit. But you have to remember back then, asbestos was used as a flame retardant. It still cracks me up to this day. Asbestos suit. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I can see where it's like, okay, apparently it can protect you from fire from the outside, but not necessarily from inside too, yeah, in a way, yeah, but the glass itself would have still been affected by the flame, as he pointed out. So, anyways, actually, I'm gonna bring it to the next. I'm gonna scroll down to the next story, but after that I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. So I'll be
Okay.
right back. So if you want to just talk, granted, it doesn't look like there's anybody else in the chat, but if you want to try to converse with them for a moment while I step away from the
Are
computer.
there people watching?
Well, there's two people watching, but I'm guessing it's just you and me. But you can still just do a monologue or whatever while I'm gone. I just need to step away from
Okay,
the computer for
so
a moment. I'll be right
since
back.
okay, well, what would you guys like me to dress up as Rex? And oh dear, and where? So like since I have to be proxy Rex, I could wear a black ball cap and a black t-shirt and try to imitate his boring southern drawl, 'cause he talks really southern and he sounds like this to me. And when I talk like this. Hi, my name is Sabrina, and my favorite color is clear. And I have an oddly weird hobby, and this is what I do. He's more southern. And to get him to have a normal conversation is hard because I feel like he's talking like this, even though I know he's talking like a normal human being. But yeah, if you guys want me to, just let me know in the comments if you want me to do Proxy Rex, how you want me to do it, and if you have any ideas on how I could be a better Proxy Rex, let me know. And I would appreciate it. Yeah. And yeah, I actually enjoy coming on here and reading these comics, even though I struggle with some of the words. I do enjoy doing it. And also, you can, if you donate money to Rex's Fund by Comic, at least $50, I will personally, and you let me know by screenshotting and letting me know via screenshot that you have donated at least $50. I will personally, via messenger service, personally send you his personal cell phone number so that you can harass him at your own personal time. Yeah. What he's gonna get he's gotta fund that comic somehow, so yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
I really do need a fur coat.
oh boy.
What? I'm cold. I'm getting
Yeah,
old.
I know, but
Osteoporosis is gonna set in
Rex got
soon.
other issues going on right now. Like he just had to bury his dog, and
I'm
I mean,
trying to make him feel better. And I know he buried his dog. I sent him something very nice, a photo of something very nice to make him feel better.
yeah. Well, anyways,
I said, at least you don't have to clean up this. And I sent him a picture of a litter box. And I was like, at least you don't, at least you never have to worry about doing this. And then he called me a mean word. And then he said, I get it. And I'm laughing, but thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let me just scan it because there's a possibility there's like two or three female characters in here. Yep. There's Betty Jean, there's Dorna, and then there's
Whoa, that looks like
Namor's
Betty
mother.
Rage.
So I think we do have some female characters here. So I'll do the narration and the male characters, and then you can do the female character. I think. All right.
Okay.
So ready?
Yep.
Submariner by Bill Everett.
Okay.
Due to the sudden change of the submariner's heart, Luther Robinson, Lynn Harris, and Luther's first mate, Mickey, are permitted to escape from Namor's ice castle. in their seaplane. They have been held prisoners since Namor sunk Luthor's superyacht, which Luthor had sailed to the Antarctic on an expedition purported to bring about the extermination of Namor and his race of submariners. And now, in the castle, Namor's mother talks with him.
Namor, you were a fool to let that girl get away. She would have made a good mate for you.
But mother, she would have made a good wife, yes. But you seem to forget that she is an American and a thoroughbred, while only 3/4 of my blood um, is that of the white man. Also, you forget that the Americans are our enemies. Prince Namor, Highness, excuse me, please. Honored Prince, our first line scouts report that the plane in which the 3 Americans escaped had been forced down about 15 kilometers from number 203 lookout. Our men await instructions.
Good. Here's your chance, Namor. You can recapture the girl and bring her back here.
Perhaps, maybe, you're right, Mother. I'll try it anyway. 30 minutes later, Namor assembled his private Grenadier Squadron. We'll leave in squad formation, then flank off at the outpost. In short order, the flight is in progress. The artificial steam propelled area submarines speeding through the water, then cleaving the surface and soaring into the air. An hour later, Namor's amphibian hovers over a dark blemish on the cold Antarctic water. Oil spreading from the felled seaplane. Ouch. With a great soft hiss, the skids of the area subs smack the waves. Aerial subs smack the waves and glide to a stop. A moment later, Namor and his men dive beneath the surface, searching for the victims of the crash. Riding the plane while still under water, Namor examines the cockpit. No one here. Perhaps finding it empty, he climbs onto the nearby ice floe. But no, they couldn't have escaped. There is nothing but ice and water for hundreds of miles around here. Hello, what's this? one of our blankets, and a man's handkerchief. They must have slipped off the edge of the ice floe and drowned, and were carried away by the current. Well, we might as well get back to the castle. Flying low, speeding homeward. Fulma, look, a white man's submarine. But what is it doing in these waters? Oh, no, honored sir. And the alien undersea craft commences to submerge. Well, we'll soon find out. Dive plane Fulma. As it sinks, Namor's amphibian chases through after it. And the young prince leaps from a window to streak through the water toward the submarine's keel. This little minnow won't be hard to handle. Little minnow? Look at how big that thing is.
It is. It's huge.
And he's calling it a little minnow.
I'm thinking about SS Minnow from, Gilligan.
Yeah. Namor pits his mighty strength against the weight of the sub's iron hull, pushing it toward the surface. Heavier than I thought. As the submersive lurches and keels over, panic breaks out among the crew. Luther and Lynn are caught in the tide of the terror of the terrified Nazi sailors. Now remember, this was 1940, so Nazis were around then. Suddenly, the commander's voice rang out above the shouting. Stop the motor! Then the sub boils up through the waves. Good. Now to let them have a look at me. Namor steps in front of the periscope, and below the commander sees Namor's men get to work quickly, smashing open the hatches. Then pour through, blasting the crew with small but powerful steam guns. In no time at all, the crew is overpowered, and Namor seizes Lynn. Thought I'd find you here.
You?
Here, Fulma. Take her to the plane. I want to speak to the commander a moment. What der meaning of this outrage? Listen, Adolf, and don't get excited. I don't want your submarine, your crew, or any part of either. I only want the girl. And now that I've got her, I'll leave you alone. Namor, now Now I know this is probably the first time you've read a Namor story and all that. So, but Rick and I, when we've read this before, we'd have this debate going. Well, is he a hero? Is he a villain? Is he an anti-hero? What exactly is Namor? It's
It's what is he? Maybe he likes the girl, but he's afraid to. Yeah,
well,
we
yeah,
don't
I
know
mean,
yet.
it's panics though because sometimes he acts because throughout his history, Namor has acted as both a hero and a villain. But a lot of times you have to take it from the perspective of who he is. He's Prince of Marvel's version of Atlantis. You know, so his Atlantean people ultimately come first to him, right?
So he's
You know,
chaotic evil,
yeah. Um,
or he's chaotic neutral. Oops, sorry. Oh,
you all
almost
right?
like that.
You all right there?
Yeah, I
Rick
just
here. Hey, Rick. Thanks for popping in. And Fishozo too. Hey, look like we got a couple more people here now. We got 5 people in total. Look, at least watching on YouTube. Let's see. Of course, Rumble only one still. Again, a friendly reminder to everybody. Of course, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions the best, or we will try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Yeah. Anyways, getting back to the story here. So, a few minutes later, with his lieutenant and his prisoner, the submariner starts home.
Where are you taking me? Why didn't you leave me with Luther? Those Nazis were taking us back to civilization. What do you want with me?
You'll soon see, my fair-haired beauty. Now, what if somebody had taken you hostage and said that to you? What's going through your mind as a woman?
In this situation,
Uh
I don't know.
huh.
Maybe he's going to kidnap me and force me to cook for him. Or worse, feed his sea guppies.
Well, I mean, I think we kind of had the answer earlier, right?
And he's going to force me to marry him and feed his sea guppies and cook for him and and not cook good food.
And
Like
maybe bear his children.
bear his sea guppies.
Uh, as Namor circles overhead, a huge gray battleship suddenly looms up on the horizon. Ship ahoy, sir! Dead ahead! It's a Britcher! Man the torpedoes! On the ship, periscope, sir, and 3 planes. All hands out! The battle stations. Submarine! And in Namor's plane, uh-oh, this is good. Now we'll see a real battle. No sooner does Namor speak than the destroyer cuts loose with its forward guns, and a shell screams out at the Nazi submarine. Namor's plane slips down through the shell split as the submarine loses a well-armed torpedo. looses. Okay. The sub's crew mans the deck gun as the torpedo hits the destroyer. The destroyer begins to roll over, and on the port deck, anti-aircraft guns point their muzzles skyward. Get those planes! They must be the U-boat convoy. Good grief. They're shooting at us. Think we're Nazis too. Well, we'll show them. Namor's planes dive on the British destroyer as the destroyer's guns make direct hit on the submarine. Great clouds of scalding steam spurt from the noses of Namor's amphibians. They can't do that to the submariner, and both the destroyer and the U-boat start for Davy Jones' locker. Now, Sabrina, do you know what Davy Jones' locker is?
Yes.
It's the sea graveyard, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, I'm very sorry.
You all right there? You sound a little breathy.
I had to shut the door. I'll explain after we reread. I'll explain what's going on. It's kind of funny.
After we finish this particular story, right?
Yeah, I'll explain.
Anti-aircraft guns, still firing. The destroyer dips her beams as one of Namor's planes burst into flames, and the sinking ship's wireless shack. Come on, Carter, let's go. Just a sec. Contacted a cruiser. Another of the aerial submarine down. Namor turns alone and heads back to his castle as the British rescue cruiser approaches. High time we got out of here. Fools and their stupid wars. What a pity that all these men have to suffer and die because of the greed of dictatorial rulers. But it was ever so. There will always be war, I suppose.
Yes, and you're a fine one to talk. What about all those men on Luther's yacht that you killed? And what about Walter? You killed him too. At least you're responsible for his death. You could have brought him with me.
Be quiet, little fool. If he hadn't been so stupid to pursue me from America, he'd be alive and well this minute. His death is no one's fault but his own. Good point there. I mean, if you don't go after the guy in the first place, then you don't have to worry about it, right? While Namor speeds through the air, beats from the cruiser pick up the destroyer's survivors, and and the handful of Germans who escaped from the sub.
You heartless! What do you propose to do with me?
You, my dear, are to be my wife.
What? You mean you? Oh no, you can't do that. What? Why? I couldn't even live in this climate. I'd freeze to death in a week. Take me home to America, please, please.
Nice, nice read of the line right there. That's pretty dramatic. There. That's a great read there. Fulma, take the wheel. I want to talk to this young lady. Listen, my child. It is my mother's wish that I take you for my mate, and no one disobeys my mother, the princess. You will be treated by our doctors and scientists until you have reached a state where a state where neither cold nor heat will affect you. Then an operation will permit you to breathe underwater, and you will be, in fact, a human submariner, the first in the world. But in the meantime, Fulma, who is a doctor in his own right, will give you something to numb the cold for the next few hours. Wow, that's got to be something. Basically, you're first told you're going to be the man's wife. Then you're basically being told that they're going to force a bunch of medical procedures on you to make you more adaptable to the climate they're going to force you to live in. That's gotta be something, doesn't it?
All I can think of is season 2 of Sequest, where Dom DeLuise's son is one of the characters, and he has the gills on his side.
Uh,
Yeah.
Dom. So are you thinking the younger Michael DeLuise?
Peter DeLuise.
Oh,
Is
Peter
it
DeLuise.
Peter DeLuise?
Okay, he has two sons. Yeah. Okay, so
Is it
Dom
Peter
DeLuise
or
had two.
Michael?
Peter, and Michael. Peter was the one who played Penn Hall in 21 Jump Street.
So it was Michael, probably.
Yeah. Michael's the younger one, the one with the blonde hair. Peter had the
It's
brown hair.
Michael. Yeah, it was Michael, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, they played brothers on 21 Jump Street, too, now that I think about it. Peter
Yeah, they were
played
both on
Peter
Sequest.
played Doug Penhall. Michael played Joey Penhall. So, and it's kind of funny
Oh God, they
because
were both on 21 Jump Street, and they were both on Sequest. Yes.
yeah. Well, not only that, but Dom actually guest starred on get this too. Dom DeLuise also guest starred on 21 Jump Street as
Their stepfather.
right.
And he also guest starred on Sequest DSC, and one of their brothers also guest starred as a bouncer too on the same episode.
Hmm.
Yep, I'm a nerd. Sorry.
That's okay, but I mean, well, and I just recently rewatched 21 Jump Street a while back too. So, but anyways, back to the story here.
Sorry.
10 minutes later, aerial sub settles down on the water outside the castle. The occupants prepare to swim ashore. There, you see, my friend, it is not so cold now, is it?
No, but I feel sort of numb, like I've been etherized.
That's correct. Etherized, like who's had ether placed in them. Namor leads the way to the castle. That will wear off in a little time. Meanwhile, I'll show you your new home. Greetings, friends. Lynn, Lynn Harris, meet my mother, the princess, and my cousin Dorna. They will look after you and prepare you for the operation. They both speak English, so you'll have no trouble understanding them. Sometime later, greetings, honorable doctors. Is everything set? We are ready. Good. Bring the American girl in, guards. Strap her to the table. You're really painless, young lady. Do not be afraid. We shall use an anesthetic. During the ensuing hour, a little more ether, doctor. More clips, nurse. Steady now. Done. She will be able to breathe underwater now. Next, we'll rare for her for immunity to weather equipment. Ready, gentlemen? Lynn's unconscious body is placed erect in a weird machine. Careful, doctor. And amid a blinding flash of light, she is frozen in a solid block of ice. But wait, the door suddenly bursts open. It is Luther. So, didn't take me long to find you, you water rats. Freeze my girl, will you? Well, see if you can freeze this. Bang! In the explosion, the ice block splits. Lynn! Dirty snakes thought they'd done away with me, but they didn't figure I'd escape from the submarine and be picked up by the rescue cruiser. Now to get back to the longboat. But there's a bit of a problem. Her body's already been prepped for underwater living, so he might be.
She's gonna have gills like the guy off.
Hurry, men! Got to get back to the ship before the whole tribe takes out after us. We're ready, sir. A few moments later, the Americans are safely on board, and the British warship steams over the horizon. Back in the operating room. Oh, a hand grenade. So they took us by surprise and got away again. What will happen to Luther and Lynn now? And what will the Submariner do in the next issue of Marvel Comics? All right. So
okay, I'm invested.
Huh? What was that?
I'm invested. Come on. What happens?
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait till next time we get around to reading Marvel Comics. But anyways,
I'm invested because I want to know. Does she have the gills like the guy off Sequest? Yes.
All right. So overall impressions of that story there.
Actually, I liked it. I really did. I liked this one. It was really good because it had action. It had a kidnapping. Because every woman, believe it or not, wants to be kidnapped in a fun way,
Yeah.
but not
Well,
kidnapped and forced to cook.
not that I'm looking to get too adult in these shows, but
Not
obviously
kidnapped, but like
obviously in the realm of bondage fetishism.
no, no,
Um,
no. Okay, so like I want to be took by surprise somewhere and surprised. Like I'm taking you somewhere, but you don't know where we're going, kind of thing. And then we wind up somewhere I actually enjoy and not at a salvage yard picking up the part for your 1996 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup because you keep your alternator keeps sparking because you have a crappy radio in it and that's the problem. But we have to keep going to the salvage yard for a new alternator every 3 months because you don't pay attention. That's not a surprise date.
my guess is based on
That ever happened. I'm
what
just
you're
stating.
saying is you want to be like blindfolded, taken to a nice restaurant and treated to a nice dinner and all that, right?
No, not really a restaurant. I just wanted an adventure.
Hmm. Let's see. Of all the things I'd hear you say on Hinge, now that's a new thing I've heard. Well, I'm not sure. I'm well versed in many areas, even though my main obviously on the show here, I primarily try to focus mostly on, of course, anime, cartoons, comics, manga, and pro wrestling. Right? Doesn't mean that I'm not at least somewhat aware of other things. It's funny because even in the realm of comics, now you have to remember too, comics back here in the golden age too were written. Even though traditionally they've always been looked at as being written more for kids. At least as time went on, so you get into maybe the 50s and the 60s when you get Comics Code Authority established and all that. Back in these days, you had a lot of more adult themes in there. You had,
But they were subtle.
yeah,
They were subtle hints.
now, granted, and we've talked about this too before when we've of course RJ and I have talked about it on a few occasions whenever we've talked about DC because Wonder Woman, okay, which was created by William Moulton Marston's his wife Elizabeth Marston's and his lover Olive Byrne. Okay, the three of them. They were really into like bondage fetishism, and they would actually put it into the stories, into a lot of the. So heads up to anybody because we will be reading some Wonder Woman at some point down the road, but particularly in a lot of those early Golden Age stories, there is quite a bit of bondage fetishism going on there. So,
Yeah, and that is true. Yes.
it was just unexpected on the show. Yeah, I get it because, again, I usually try to keep this more lighthearted. I try not to be too serious or too mature, you know.
Right.
Even though, it's like I do try to preserve a certain amount of innocence on the show, but sometimes you have to acknowledge those things. Sometimes it's like it is what it is. That's part of the whole thing with this whole thing. It's a study of how society has kind of changed over time, how our tastes have changed. You know, even our reading comprehension. Because I mean, you may have noticed this earlier. I think you even noted it earlier. Like some of the word usage in some of these comics seems
Yeah,
a
like the word subdue. I know the word subdue and subdued. It was the way it was printed because the way this is printed, this is a dyslexic person's nightmare.
hmm,
But some of the fonts and some of the others are really easy. But that first one, it was the way it was printed. The printing is similar in this one, but
right.
it was it was printed a little bit odd. It had a slight slant, so
Hmm,
it was a little bit more difficult.
hmm,
But it could have just been me too.
right.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, as I always thought, subdue is spelled Subdue, and then since it's a verb, the e a lot of times when you're like presenting it in the present active form, the e is usually replaced with the ing. So then
Yeah.
it's spelled Subduing.
And a lot of these people, and there's American spelling and English spelling, and then it's just like a whole different, and then you're like,
Right.
yeah. So it gets even more confusing.
All right. So we're past the hour mark, and then we still got enough. I knew we'd be able to get through probably three. So we're gonna
Eh,
move on to the Electro story here.
Okay.
There's Angel. Now the Electro story is going to be a little shorter. Like these both
Okay.
were double-digit page count, like 12 and 10, I believe. And then I think
Okay.
Electro will be something like 6 to 8 pages, I believe, once we get there. It's a text
Okay. Give
story.
me 1 sec. I'll be right back. I just got to open the door and check something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You were also going to tell. Well, I guess you can do it when you get back from shutting the door. But you were going to tell me what was so funny earlier.
Oh, yeah. So I jokingly said something to my aunt. See, I'm in the back guest room, which is all the way on the other side of the house. Okay. And I jokingly said something to my aunt because she gripes because we have a long haired cat and they're both black. And I
Hmm.
said, I vacuum 3 times a week in the house. If you have a problem with the cat butt hairs, then get a robot vacuum. Well, she got one and she's been playing with it.
Hmm.
And what I mean by playing with it is you can control it to run once a day, or you can hit a button and you can have it run more than once a day. Well, she decorated hers
Uh,
today, and while I was at work, and she gave it 2 bows for ears, and it has a tail at the top
hmm,
so that the cats aren't afraid of it. And I
hmm,
opened the door just now and it has a light in dark areas. It has a light and it has the sensor that lights so that, like, if you're in a room, you can see it.
uh-huh.
Don't ask. And I opened the door and there's this thing coming towards me with neon green bows on it and a thing on the top, and I just shut the door, and that's why I was trying not to laugh because my 81-year-old aunt decorated the robotic.
It does sound like a funny little design there. This
Yeah,
isn't like
she
something like out of the
decorated
Jetsons or anything like that, right?
and she decorated it. She was bored. While I was at work, she gets bored. And I should have never introduced her to Amazon, Temu, and I should have never introduced her to YouTube, Amazon, or Temu. Those were my mistakes. Oh, and delivery
What's wrong
services.
with her knowing about YouTube?
Um, she puts it up on the big TV and she makes things now.
Ah, so she
Like create with me
ah
and she makes wreaths
ah.
and other things.
All right.
And it's interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into this last story.
Okay.
We're at hour 20 here. Let me just
Okay.
let me just breeze through it real quick to see if there's any. And I don't think this one will have any like women's. I think this one actually won't have any women in it, so probably will have you just do the yeah. All right, yeah. So I'll have you do the narration then, because there are no women in this story.
Okay.
All right, let's get it back up there. All right, go for it.
Electro. The Electro. The marvel of the age.
And then there's the I think
By
the
Steve Dillman. Dallahan? Maybe
Dahlman.
Dahlman?
I think it's Dahlman.
Dahlman. Dahlman? Sorry.
Yeah, Dahlman. No problem. I mean, I know it's hard. It was hard to see there, so but
While per While Professor Zog improves his wonder robot Electro, ships at sea are looted and sunk by a submersible pirate who calls himself the Shark. No flag is spared. The Shark demands tribute from the United States. The president listens gravely to a broadcast from the Shark.
if tribute is not paid, my deep sea raiders will blast every ship off the ocean. This is the shark speaking. It's preposterous, Mr. President. He means what he says. But I have a plan. We must enlist the help of Professor Zog.
Zog is sent for.
Our plan is to pay the tribute. Um, may we depend on your help. You surely may.
Later, aboard a U.S. destroyer,
Professor Zog, this is where we leave the tribute. Evans gave orders to lower the treasure boat.
hold on,
There
I gotta
goes the
make it
shark.
big again.
Huh?
Sorry.
Huh. There goes the shark's treasure. Hope he likes it. He won't come up after it until he's sure we're gone.
The eye of the shark appears.
There she is. Dram alongside. Okay, Chief. Wait. Something moved. Stand by the ready. Stand by ready to torpedo. What's this? It must be a trick.
Meanwhile, on the absent destroyer,
It's marvelous. That robot's television lens is like a long distance eye.
from the submarine, the shark's men fire a torpedo.
Fire!
The torpedo hits.
Do you want to do
Professor Zog's voice
this? Do you want
in
to do
an
the sound
image
effect?
where, oh, duh, the torpedo hits. Boom! Professor Zog's voice and image are both transmitted to the robot's television.
Now to get to work.
Yeah.
It's coming aboard. We're goners. Perhaps this will teach you. Perhaps this will teach you to respect the law. Save us! Help! This demon will have to be held on deck, or the sub will be wrecked.
Leaving his crew to face the Iron Man, the cowardly pirate captain causes the submarine to dive.
Help! We're going under! We'll drown! I'll have Electro follow that submarine.
Down, down dives the submarine with the Wonder Robot clinging to the aft pole. Down, down, deeper into the abyss, through the darkness and the terrific pressure.
No submarine ever went that deep before. They developed a new deep sea craft, but Electro is pressure resistant. Look, a big dome-shaped building at the bottom of the sea. More than a mile deep. It's built on the top of the submerged mountain.
What? Electro's television lens reveals.
The submarine has gone in with Electro. Look, it's slot opening in the building, an airlock.
Inside the airlock, the sub's crew emerges from the hatchway.
Right.
Oh, go over. A figure appears on the landing.
All clear. Hey, what's this?
The sub's crew emerges from the hatchway.
It's a robot. How did it get here? Take that. Bang, bang. The game's up. Hey, help! Here's how you handle your kind. How I handle your kind. Ouch! Won the shark! Wham!
Nearby in his throne room sits the craftiest, most feared arch criminal of the seven seas, the shark.
The whole world will soon pay me tribute. I shall call myself Emperor of the Seas. What's all that noise? Majesty, there's a monster loose. It came in with the sub. Did you just chuckle?
No, I coughed.
Okay. The fools! What have they done? Sound the alarm. A giant A, a giant mechanical robot. Yes, and it's your nemesis, Shark.
The shark dashes forward, a tunneled exit, while his men try to stop Electro.
Fools! It keeps right on coming. That monster is unbelievable.
Electro plunges after the shark.
He won't escape.
But before he reaches him, a steel door falls. Clang!
Crash! Come on, Iron
Crack!
Man. Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. There was narration at the bottom. Sometimes I'll do
Oh
that.
yeah, I just saw that. Electro smashes through as Zog's voice rises, as Zog's voice rings triumphantly.
Come on, Iron Man. Try and stop me.
Suddenly, the Wonder Robot is caught in a net of flexible steel.
All right, I think I got an idea how this. Okay, gonna go. It's gonna go like. All right, hurry, man. He's helpless now. But how will we destroy the monster, Majesty? Get him in the vacuum chamber. Then I'll turn on the atom smashing ray. Atom smashing ray pointed there. Now let me see you escape your doom. If they really have an atom smashing ray, Electro will be blasted to powder. Better generate more power. That does it. Oh, there's some
With,
narration. Yeah.
within, within the robot Titan is superpower. The robot Titan superpower is released.
He's loose again. Crack! It's wrecking. It's wrecking the air pumps. We'll smother. To the submarine. Get out while we can.
With a tremendous roar and crash like thunder, the walls crash and the sea enters.
Mercy! Help! He wrecked the airlock. We'll drown.
The shark's castle is completely demolished by the sea, which had concealed it. But the iron, well, hold on, it bumped on me. But the Iron Man was not destroyed.
That was a narrow escape.
Made of a secret alloy which neither rust, pressure, nor intense heat can harm, Electro proceeds to the surface. No, ascends to the surface. That finishes the job.
No. Um, there's there's um there's a line. There's a narration line up top of that last panel.
Oh, I see it. Professor Zog receives a medal from the president.
Huh. The Congress of the United States. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Oh, what smashes the job? That finishes the job. Okay, I see what that was. The Congress of the United States bestows this medal on you, recognizing recognizing for your services as a benefactor of mankind. Then there's a couple of things right there that you can read.
Yeah. Electro, the Wonder robot, will be back in the next issue of Marvel Comics.
The end.
The end.
All right. So how did you?
I like how they did the end on that. That's pretty. I like how they did that.
All right. So okay. So that's all the stories we're gonna read for tonight here. Let me just go ahead and I guess now we can clear that out. So overall impressions of that last story.
I liked it. I thought it was cute, but I liked the second one
Well,
better.
hold on.
I did like that one.
We'll get to the differential stuff in a moment. Just give me your overall impressions of this last story. You know, your comments.
So I liked it. They all had I liked it.
You like
I liked the writings back then too. I mean, they keep you like into them. Like you're enthralled in them. It's not like boring. You know, like some of them they're like,
all right. Sounds like you really want to get into the differential question, so I guess we'll just jump right into that then. So of the three stories, then we read, of course, of the three stories, we read the Human Torch, Namor, the Submariner, and Electro. Of the three, which one did you like the best or made the best impression, and why?
I want to read all the stories about the Submariner because he sounds like a guy that you love to hate and hate to love. Yeah,
So is
he
that the
sounds
one that
like
made the best impression? Is the Submariner is the one that made the best impression?
yeah, because he sounds like the type of guy that you hate, you love to love, you love to hate him. You know, he sounds like the type, yeah. Are his stories good? Like, are his stories like he tries to be a good guy, but he can also be a butthead? Like, or that has his stories
Well,
go?
you also have to with Namor there too. You have to look at it from a particular perspective because it's one of those cases where one country's hero is another's villain, right?
That is true, yes.
Because he's the prince of He's the prince of Atlantis, as I said. So to his people, he's a hero, and his actions, while albeit sometimes like him killing people, for example, to his people, those are justified. But to the people he killed or the families of those he killed, or
Yeah,
like the Americans see him as a villain. So
yeah,
it depends upon it's one of those things where it depends upon your your perspective on the situation. But
right.
for the most part, at least we can come to the thing that the story that you liked the most or made the best impression on you was the Namor story.
Yes. I
Yeah,
would
and
love
that
to
one
read
is
more.
being written serially. That you bring that up too, and yes, that story does seem to be written serially. You know, in other words,
Yes.
SERIAL, like a series of stories. Huh?
Yes.
Rick has something to say here. I see him as a villain too, and I am Canadian.
But
Yeah,
Canadians
Rick
speak
and I
honorably.
had had a big debate about whether or not he was a villain or hero. But it's also, again, it's depending upon perspective, right?
Right.
That's the whole thing in Namor's story, because again, one country's hero could be another's, villain. And it reminded me of another saying too. Um, the victor writes the history, right? The victors always write the history, right?
Yes.
Um, all right. So of the two remaining stories then that we read, Human Torch and Electro,
Yes.
which one did you like the least, or made the least impression, and why?
Uh, I don't know. Um, I I liked all three of them, but to me, the last one was kind of not as cool as the first one. It wasn't as exciting as the first one. But you got to also realize I was trying not to laugh about the asbestos suits too. So like you have to realize like some of the stuff that I find hilarious and comical
Mm-hmm.
is like the funniest stuff in the world because yeah, I'm just weird. But honestly, I really like the first one
Mm-hmm.
because it you got to think, because I said at the beginning, you have to think most bad guys back then in comic books were not female.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you never would think it was a female because back then
All right.
that was not the societal norm. All the bad criminals were men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't
So then
common.
I guess for the answer to the question here, the story that made the least impression was probably the Electros or the last story then.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was well written.
Yeah,
It was good.
this is not necessarily the first time that people have had trouble answering these last two questions, because sometimes all the stories are just sometimes it depends. It depends, of course, on the publisher. Depends on the stories. You know, sometimes there's there's obviously best and worst, and sometimes it's like you have to discuss it through to figure out what the best and worst are. And Rick
And
has.
honestly, it can also be a person's different opinion. Um, in reading these comics with Mike, there are a lot of bad guys that are yes, that is true. Um, but like okay, so like hold on, I've got to readjust because my head
Well, we
hold
have
on.
found other female villains.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
but like
and not
okay.
saying there's it's not we're not saying that there are no female villains or villains or women cannot be villains
Oh
at
no.
all. It's just
Oh no.
it's not as much the norm back then, at least. It might be a little bit more of a norm now, but
Surprisingly, yeah, it no, it's so it's perspective too. You may read a book and tell me, "Oh my gosh, I just read this book and I think it would help you so much. It's a book about ADHD and I think it would help you." And you tell me to go get this book. It's on Amazon and you're like, "Hey, go get this book. I'm telling you it's perfect. It helped me. It will help you." It not that it would help it didn't help you, but you said, "Hey, I read this book on ADHD. I think it would help you." So you send me a link to this book. And I tried my hardest to read it. And I can't even get through the first 3 chapters. So I call you up and I'm like, "Hey, can't even get through the first 3 chapters." It's all about perspective on some things too.
mhm,
And that's another thing. Like it's somebody else might think the third comic that we read tonight was the cool thought it was cool. because hey, that's a Metal Man, that's an Iron Man. Is that the precursor of Iron Man? Is it this?
No.
Is
Well, that
this
one I
like
got
the
here.
precursor of this one? Is this the precursor of like not Iron Man, but oh my God,
The Human
not
Torch.
Iron Man. I can't think of it right now. I worked today. I had to use my intelligence to be nice. So, like I can't think right now, but I can't think of who I'm thinking of, but like, you know, like hey, is it supposed to be this person? Is it supposed to be that? You
Human
know?
Torch had at least to my knowledge, and some people might know of more, but Human Torch had
Right.
two incarnations in the Golden Age. It was the android Jim Hammond who we read tonight. The other Human Torch that is more well known to people is Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four. He's the one
Yeah.
who's more famous. As for Electro, there been the Electro most people would think of when they hear the name Electro would be the Spider-Man villain, who basically dresses up who's got like a mask that's looks like a human lightning star or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, not now Iron now yeah they called him Iron Man here, but Iron Man was a hero that was developed later, like in the '60s. Tony Stark. Okay,
Yeah.
even he's somewhat different from like Electro. Here is basically a remote control robot that's controlled by his creator, Professor Zog, and goes out
Right.
and you know Iron Man, Iron Man, Tony Stark is basically a normal human who wears a powered bodysuit with various weapons in the suit, like
Iron
repulsors.
Man is very rich. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you'll
Yeah.
find too. It's funny because in the Golden Age here, and I know you haven't read as many stories with me as, but what you
Mhm.
will find is most of the heroes either are somewhat independently wealthy or they're in fairly professional jobs, right?
I am I identify as independently poor. You
Yeah.
see how I got the my laptop really close to me.
Yeah.
I identify as independently poor. Mhm. That's how I
Yeah.
and I would like for someone so that I don't appear as independently poor. I would like one of those Lappy Toppies that is I think it's called an MSI or MIS Lappy Toppy with a terabyte hard drive. Hint, hint, out there delivered to me.
Yeah.
Instead of a fur coat, Rex, if you're watching.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You keep getting on Rex about the code and stuff like that. After the last time you were on, I think he actually
Yeah.
commented that she's not getting a coat.
What? What was the comment?
Like she's not getting, or at least getting a cot anytime soon. You know. Now, Grant,
He said that?
I think he did. Yeah, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. But
I'm driving the 6 hours down to his house.
hmm,
I'm gonna
but
take a garden
well,
hose.
I don't honestly. I don't think he should have made you that promise in the first place because
That was the dumbest thing you could ever done. And what he doesn't realize is on behind us right now, there is this double door closet, and there's not one, not two, but there's
for what?
four fur coats.
So you already have fur coats then. I mean, if you already have fur coats, if you already have fur coats, then why are you
But
okay?
hey, hold on. Now, are you ready for this? Are you ready for
All
this?
right,
Okay.
all right, go ahead.
Guess how much I paid for them? The most I paid for
$500.
them. $50.
So okay, I guess I can understand why you might. I understand
Okay.
from a particular perspective why you might be on Rex about because he told you in the first place that he should. No, I don't think he should have made that promise to you in the first place. Quite honestly.
Okay. So I went to a Goodwill. Um I went to a Goodwill in Tennessee and found one. And the reason why they were selling it was the buttons and the loops and hooks were damaged. And I know how to repair those because, hello, I'm a seamstress. So I said, oh, the hooks are damaged and the loops and the buttons are damaged. And it had a tear in the lining. And so I got it for $10.
Hmm.
So I got a black fur coat, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a nice quality fur
Well, even if you
coat.
did, I wouldn't know what you're talking about anyway.
So I got a mink car coat length that is large. It fits me, and I'm a big girl, and I got it for $10 at a Goodwill. And I had it professionally cleaned. I took it to a place about 3 hours from where I live and had it professionally cleaned. And then I had myself go in and fix the lining and do what needed to be repaired because I went to school to do this. So, and then the other one I got for the other two, I got at the same place. And then the third one I paid $50 for on a eBay sale because it was on eBay and nobody was bidding on it. And I thought it was a fake fur coat because that's what it said, and it was a long one. The girl didn't realize it was a real fur coat. She didn't know anything about what she was selling, and bing, bang, boom, I got a real fur coat for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, first off, I don't think Rex should have made that promise to you in the first place. Because
and it's just a
because
way to harass
I mean,
him.
in and of itself, getting a fur coat it's pricey, and it's like it would run most people to bankruptcy.
Yeah,
You know, um,
but, I know
but
how to take
but then
care of them.
it
I
also
have
makes you look bad when you make such a promise and then end up not being able to fulfill that promise. It makes him look bad for making that promise because then people are going to wonder, well, can we trust him? Can he keep his word? You know.
Oh, no, 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 I'm just messing with him to mess with him because, "Oh, this is funny." But, I actually he knows that I'm a thrifter and I thrift things and I do things. So, he'll probably get me, like, a fur little shawlet, one of those little, things that you put around your neck, and I would be happy with that, or, like, earmuffs. I
Yeah, but the thing is,
it
here's the thing. The way you were making it sound, right? I was under the impression you didn't have a fur coat at all, and that you were actually suffering because of it. That's the
I
impression
have
I got,
coats.
and that's even that. And if that was truly the case, that's even more.
Oh, no. Oh, no, here was the problem. It was getting down into the teens, and it got down to, like, below, um it was down into the teens where
Mhm.
I'm at. It was getting really cold, like frost on the windshields, ice on the windshields and stuff, and it was icing up, and I didn't have a heater in my vehicle because my heater went out. And, I had to borrow money to get my heater fixed, and that's when this all I was like, "I don't have a heater." My heater went out in my truck, so I didn't have a heater, and I was this is how this started. So I have an electric blanket that you can
Uh-huh.
plug into the cigarette lighter. I have 2 of them, and I actually bought these for my aunt. So
Hmm.
one that she could wrap up here when she was riding with me, and one
Hmm.
that she could wrap down around her legs, and they both plug into cigarette lighters. So I have these in my car for her, and I told Rex, I sent him a picture. I think I sent him a picture of me having both those plugged in, but not on me, on my dashboard, trying to get my windows defogged because it was so cold and there was no heat in my car. And I'm driving back from somewhere because a cold snap came through as I was driving home,
Hmm.
and it was that bad. There was no heat. It was bad, and I didn't all I had on me was, like, a lightweight jacket. I was not prepared for the cold weather. It was bad. I was embarrassed and mad at myself. And so I got my heat fixed in my old truck, and then my transmission went out, which was hilarious, so now I have a new truck, and, yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And I could have used the money that I paid for my new truck to buy me a new fur coat, but yeah.
Hmm. I mean, you have like 4 fur coats. I mean.
Yeah, and they will keep you. I'll tell you this, because of the where I travel, because I travel a lot and go up north, like,
Uh-huh.
I travel to Michigan, and I travel to the Great Lakes area, and if anybody knows anything about the Great Lakes area, it gets very cold. So, when you're traveling up there, especially in the wintertime, it's cold, it's
I
freezing,
think I think
and
Rick
it
I think Rick might know a little bit about that. He's I think on the Canadian side of the Great Lakes area because I think
okay, yeah, it's, like,
he's in
freezing.
Ontario there. He's in Ontario, so.
Oh gosh, okay. Okay, so he will get this, okay, because I'm planning on going up there again, not, planning on going to, um, not Ontario. I'm planning to go up I'm planning on to go up for 5 days to Quebec, which is completely different than Ontario, but, yeah, it's still gonna be cold when I go up there. I'm going up in probably November, and it's gonna be cold. I know it's gonna be cold, but yeah, um, very cold. Yeah,
All right.
always.
Well,
Yeah, but I
anyways,
travel up north a lot.
all right. Well, anyways, we are coming up on the 2 hour mark, so there's
Yes.
one last bit of thing I have to, and if you don't mind sticking around after the show as well for a couple
No,
minutes
I don't.
or post show, but with that being said, we're gonna start to wrap things up a little bit here. Uh, let's see. Rick says, "Yeah, I live in Hamilton, Lake Ontario, at the north end of the city, and then November
Mhm.
not that cold here." So,
So he
anyways,
lives
so
in a ham
so anyways, with that being said, today is of course Sunday, February the 15th, 2026. Of course, one day after Valentine's Day. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look back at this weekend in Neat's history. History!
Yay!
So
We learn
first,
from history so we don't repeat it.
right, well, that's one way of looking at it. Anyways, first off, I'm going to head back 15 years ago. Is on yesterday's date, 15 years ago. Um, WWE held its go home Raw heading into that weekend's Elimination Chamber. Um, from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Um, on the night, saw let's see, the main event saw Randy Orton defeat King Sheamus, that year's King of the Ring winner, I believe. R-Truth and John Morrison defeated the New Nexus duo of Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga, with Mason Ryan in a corner. Eve Torres successfully retained the WWE Divas Championship in a Lumberjill match over Natalia, and the show opened up with a match between CM Punk and John Cena that ended in 10:36. And go ahead.
My friend had a crush on CM Punk.
Yeah. Well, he's back in the WWE now. He's been back in the WWE for the last couple of years. Anyways, moving on to the next piece in each history, and 2011 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. Also on yesterday's date in 2011. On yesterday's date in 2011, Disney Junior launches as Disney Channel's new preschool block after Playhouse Disney was shut down. So on yesterday's date, back 15 years ago, Disney Junior replaced Playhouse Disney as Disney Channel's preschool block. Basically, the channel devoted to preschool programming. So, alrighty then. Now we move on to today's date here. And of course, the first thing, as soon as I clear this out, the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to wish a happy 40th birthday. Happy 40th birthday to Japanese voice actress and singer Ami Koshimizu. Turns 40 today. She's voice. This is, of course, Japanese voice of a number of different characters. Her roles include leads such as Ryuko Matoi in Kill La Kill, Charlotte E. Yeager in Strike Witches, Colin Stadfield in Code Geass, Anna Mone in Eureka 7, Irina Tachibana in Rio Rainbow Gate, Naja Applefield and Ashita no Naja, among many other roles. So happy 40th birthday.
She's beautiful. Yeah. She looks gorgeous.
Well, let's see.
She has a beautiful smile.
That was from 2008. So November of 2008, which would have made her like 22 at that time.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful. She looks so youthful and just adorable.
Yeah. But there, according to this, the picture is from 2008. So she would have been 22 at that point. But happy 40th
she's an actress and a singer.
Yeah. Yeah. Known for doing the Japanese voice, but on a number of different animes that we just went through. So. Yeah. Alrighty then. So last but not least, we are going to move ahead to the year 2006, 20 years ago today. As on this date 20 years ago today, in 2006, as I pull it up, of course. The 140th issue of Betty and Veronica Double Digest magazine went on sale on this date back in 2006. It sold for $3.59 and it was 192 pages. So Betty and Veronica Double Digest magazine number 140 went on sale on this date 20 years ago today. Sold for $3.59 with 192 pages. Alrighty then. So, anything more you want to promote or anything before we head out?
Just Rex has been really sad lately. If anybody wants to drop him a line and make him feel better, I'd gratefully appreciate it. He's been kind of sad lately.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to
Rex, things have not been going quite as well. For late. His as some of you may know, his dog passed away. I think it was about a week or so ago. And then he's also been having issues with his computer as well. So, which is why, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to join us next Sunday. But as such, I've just talked to Sabrina, and she'll be joining. She'll be filling in
And
for him next week.
if you
So,
guys have any ideas on how I could pretend to be Proxy Rex, please let Mike know. And I would love to be act out and pretend to be Proxy Rex. And of course, I will do my best to do his voice, boring, southern, slow voice. Because you know how he talks. And one day I told him, dude, you've really got to speed it up with your talking because dang, I almost fell asleep.
yeah, you acting that out too just reminded me of something. I'm trying to remember what there was a line from a TV show that was reminding me.
I was
Oh,
like,
Captain Jean-Luc Picard was when he was talking. So it was the Star Trek: The Next Generation episode where he um he Guinan, Ensign Rowe, and Keiko were coming back from a conference, and actually no, it wasn't that. It wasn't them. It wasn't that one. It was another one where but he was with Data and Troy. I can't remember who the fourth one was, but he was talking about at one point. He was talking about he was in a lecture where the guy giving the lecture had that very low, slow drawl. So that's what it
yeah,
was.
if you can get Rex agitated, and then if you can get him agitated enough,
Jordy.
get him angry, like Southern man, mad, angry. He just said Jordy. If you can
Yeah.
get him Southern, dude, I'm sorry, I had to shut the door. Okay, guys, the cats are in here now. But if you can get him Southern man, angry, it's just even more funny because then he's like, I've had enough. I had enough of stupid people. I've had enough. And then you start laughing. And then
All
he
right.
gets even more angry because you can't figure out why you're mad or why you're laughing. And then
Yeah.
he's like, I've had enough. I swear y'all had the most stupidest people up there in the north. How do they not know these pit stuff? Are they just damn
All
right
right.
ignorant?
Yeah.
And I'm just
All
like,
right. All right. Let's wrap this up. All right. Well, with that, I thank you all for being here tonight, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show.
yes,
We'll be back here with more Niche News tomorrow, and as I mentioned earlier, Sabrina will be back here next week with me. As next week, we'll be continuing our trip down comics history lane, going through comics that went on sale in August. August of 1940. Next week, we'll actually be looking at some Archie comics, or they were known then as MLJ Enterprises. So with that, I thank you all for being here, and I hope to see everybody
thank
back
you.
here tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.